Not really just answering questions, just a follow-up video. On the 8th of January, 2 days after the attack on our capital and 1 day after someone had died, it was reported by most people that either A, this person had been hit in the head with a fire extinguisher, lots of fire extinguishers were thrown at cops, or he died in some other way that was caused directly by blunt force trauma or injury. And it was an individual named Brian D. Sidnick. Now, as of that day, this was still the assumed cause of it. It's most likely cause. He had something happen with his brain. And the autopsy didn't happen until later, but the conclusion, the actual medical examiner report, happened even later. And weeks later, I didn't go back to the video, it was found that no, he literally died from a thrombosis that entered the brain and caused him to have 2 strokes in a row, and that killed him. It was brought on, obviously, by the shit that happened at the Capitol, but it could have been literally falling down, being beaten with sticks, 100 other things, not being hit in the head. Saying it has nothing to do with the Capitol rioters, the Trump supporters that attacked our government because they lost, because they're losers, doesn't wash. Saying that they didn't do it, obviously. But can't actually say they're directly responsible. There is a cutoff point where you can't say they're really directly responsible. I'm pretty sure they are, but not in a legal way. And certainly not any one individual. So there's no clear path or direct path, therefore you must exonerate, you must acquit. But he was struck in the head by a rioter, a Trump fan, but that isn't what caused him to die. Odds are it could have been just the whole damn day. Could have been a pre-existing condition. There is room for doubt. But someone decided that even though the video clearly says 190 views, January 8th, 2021, and I included links to the sources. This isn't propaganda or me, what was the thing that was said to me here? Let's read this back. You got it completely wrong. Well, I reported something after the second day, and obviously I got it wrong, okay? You're going off propaganda. No, I'm not. I was going off of what the police department was saying, not even the media. I thought you were on the good side. Me reporting the information accurately as I can that day isn't your side. Guy whose channel name starts with a Mr. Rich here, we'll call him. My video was uploaded January 8th, 2021, same day as the U.S. Department of Justice Acting Attorney General Jeffrey A. Rosen attributed Sidnick's death to injuries he suffered defending the U.S. Capitol, which is absolutely going to be most absolutely correct. And we should have followed, I should have, and everybody should have followed the example of Mr. Rosen. The most likely and straightforward answer here is that it's some sort of injury, but we don't know what it is. Until February, and actually till April, really, this 42-year-old man was incorrectly reported to have died from being struck in the head with a fire extinguisher, and this was reported by law enforcement sources and media. This is not something that is unquestioned. Why would it be? So my question is, did you notice the upload date? I thought you were on the good side, but you're going off propaganda. It doesn't work. And I don't have anything else to say about it, I guess. I'm kind of wondering, because law enforcement and media accurately repeated the information that was known to be as good a information as they had at the time. But, again, we should have stuck with the DOJ person. He died as a result of injuries sustained during this. And the thing is, having the brain get damaged from a leg injury, yeah, you can get a blood clot in the leg. It happens much later after the injury. The tissue tries to clot, the blood vessel might clot, and if it's not an artery, if it's a vein, that can actually do this, where you'll get a blood clot and it'll cause a heart attack or go into the brain and cause brain damage. I have probably an injury in my hip joint from something stupid I did, like running too fast 2 months ago or whatever, that has caused pressure against one of my nerve ending bundles, and it'll go away eventually. I've had this happen before. But I've also had an injury where I literally got hit on the side of my hip by a stone that was thrown by accident by somebody driving by on their car, and it hit me in the hip. And it caused a massive section of my leg to suddenly lose blood flow. And basically I was laid up for a day while my leg finally cleared a blood clot instead of me ending up in the hospital. And, of course, looking back on it, depending on which way the blood was flowing, whether it was an artery or a vein or, whatever, could have gone to my brain or caused a heart attack or, both. I got lucky that it dissolved. I didn't have to have blood thinners. This is a serious injury that can kill you. And it can be caused by dumb things. An injury to the calf muscle, thigh, your arm, anywhere where there's a lot of flesh and a lot of blood vessels. But me putting up a video called Trump Terrorist Rioters Calls Cops Traitors and Murders Capitol Police Officer and a Vet. That's the very triggering video. I don't think that's an inaccurate statement. A bunch of people showed up at the Capitol building screaming that they wanted to kill people inside because the vote was being accurately counted. And I can guarantee I'm actually saying something positive about Republicans and Democrats in the building. I don't think any of them had a hand in actually falsifying any votes. Some of you may claim that they're guilty of it because Democrat, or they're guilty of rigging the election, which I believe, because they're Republican. But the fact is that none of them had the ability to. Our checks and balance system that day actually worked. It doesn't matter how much each side was bitching, whether Hillary lost 4 years earlier or Trump lost this time. Inexorably, while they kick and scream, literally, in their cases, they had to certify the vote. The whole point of that right was to keep them from doing it on the right day, just to have an effect. They defiantly came back and counted that damn vote anyway, because America. The rioters lost because they deserved to lose. But I'm yelled at for propaganda 2 days afterwards. Now, you could easily say, it's a good thing, that I shouldn't have come to a conclusion. But the whole video was about Trump terrorists calling all the cops traitors for not letting them literally break in and try to kill our representative government, attacking the United States. No, the cops were patriots. They're the polar opposite of what they were accused of. That's why I put the video up. And all you little shitbags that show up in the comment section getting mad at me for pointing out the obvious. Now, I wanted to point out a couple of other things. Benjamin Phillips of Ringtown, Pennsylvania, was 50. Kevin Greason of Athens, Alabama, was 55. Rosanna Boylan, or Boleyn, of Kennesaw, Georgia, was 34. And Brian D. Sicknick was 42. But people yelling they're patriots while they try to overthrow this government and fail because they're shit. They're all about someone who was attacking the building very visibly getting shot and killed. Nobody should have died that day. All of this is a tragedy. But some are more tragic than others when you need them to be. No, she shouldn't have died either. Nobody should have died. This wasn't a walk in the park. This wasn't a thing that wasn't instigated by one side. No, the people in the building counting out the Electoral College votes that weren't trying to prevent it did not instigate anything. The Democrats sitting there listening to a vote count from, let's say, Georgia, were not doing something evil. The people outside who tried to break into the place and damage the damn place and storm the Capitol were doing something wrong. And do not sow what you cannot reap. Please stop insisting that it's okay to do this sort of thing, because the next time it's going to be an ass ton of liberals doing it. And then you're going to have to make some excuses. Hell, they might just cosplay themselves that way, or just play themselves, by doing exactly the same damn thing, just for entertainment value. Just to hear every one of you guys go into mental gymnastics over it. The Capitol riot is not, well, there are two sides to the argument. No, there isn't. There's the right side, and then there's the right-wing side. And then there's whoever's left over. Many people have committed suicide since that day. And you actually get, of course, the worst possible answer out of people where they say, well, something nasty I'm not even going to repeat. So, to the person named Rich, who decided to talk to me about me going off of propaganda and saying that he thought I was on the good side and claiming I'm completely wrong as of 2 days after this happened, and me reading the best information I had available. The only thing I didn't say accurately was, and maybe I did, was that we shouldn't assume we know what happened until we get all the data as far as his death. But as far as the asshole response from people to him dying, I was dead on. You're wrong, Rich. Get over it. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with it.